evening, depending on where you are.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us again.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, we're here for another Rev'd Up conversation. So today we wanted to talk a little bit more about how do you see yourself as a person in leadership or management. So I'll just give an example real quick. So for my purposes or from my perspective, I see myself as a leader who is very collaborative. So I like to get a lot of feedback from my team members and have it be just a welcoming environment where everybody can give their input, because I think that really everybody has some special gift that they can share. So different perspectives are wonderful, because someone may have a different idea or a different way of doing things than you would normally do it. But that is where the genius comes from, because we are all not made alike in this world, so we all think and do things differently. So for me, definitely collaboration is key. And then also, I see myself as a very warm leader. So in that, I mean that I care about my team. I want to make sure that we are communicating with each other and that there's a foundation of trust, so they can come to me if they have any issues or questions, and we can just talk it through. And then I want there to be a trust that we can work things together, whatever the issue may be, so that we can come to a solution. What about you, Stacey? How do you see yourself?
And it's funny because it's probably not fair, because it may sound a lot of redundant, because a lot of the leadership qualities you talk about and the type how you see yourself are kind of like how I see myself. As you can see, Tina and I are dressed alike. We often do that. We often, in the course of...
We're on the same wavelength.
Yes, we're on the same wavelength. I mean, there's different pieces to us, of course, but at the end of the day, I think I see myself as a leader, a strong leader who is compassionate. I believe that in order to be effective in your organization or the people who are working with and for you, you have to be relatable. You have to be able to let them know or show them that you, first of all, care, and that you're there for them to talk to you, to ask questions because they don't understand things, or they want to do something better, or they want to even show you that they learned something that could potentially help everybody in the organization, so they want to share that with you. So I too am a person who likes to collaborate, who believes in having an open door. And most importantly, I believe in getting the input from the people who I'm with, because two heads are better than one. I believe that, and so I think, of course, I can be soft, firm, if there's a way to put that, and that just means I am goal driven. I believe in getting things done. I want to see the end of the road in a positive way. So we're not just, stroking people all day long and saying, hey, what do you think?
Right.
It's like, okay, this is what you believe is the best way to do it. All right, let's do it. Let's put it together. Let's get it done. The end result is this. So absolutely, I'm goal oriented, but I am a person who believes in opening the door. I like to listen. I like to analyze, and I like to execute. So
that's a perfect answer. I love that. Okay, so now, since we talked a little bit about how we see ourselves as leaders and managers, let's do another reflective exercise or question and flip it a little bit. So my question is, how do you see the people on your team? How do you see the people who you work with on a daily basis and within your organization? Do you know them personally, or do you keep your distance? So I'll give a quick example. So when I come in and work on a new project, I like to see who all the players are on the team. What does each person do? What are they responsible? What are they doing on a daily basis? How do they contribute to, for instance, their workflow or their department? How does it contribute to the whole organization as a group? And then also a little bit about what their personality is. What do they like? Do they have a family? Do they have children? What are their interests? And it really is cool to see all the mix of everybody working together. And I think that is key to really creating a basis of trust and respect within an organization, because without that, you're going to have a hard time
Yes.
creating
Yes.
any positive work culture, I
Yes,
think.
I agree. And I think it is very important to know and understand your team, the people who are on your team, because when you do that, it obviously lets them know that you care, but also you can know who your weak links are and who your strong people are, because you could potentially pair your weaker people with your stronger people to get better results. And of course, some people you have extrovert people, introverted people, and you don't want to encroach on their introversion. Is that the right way to say it? Or
Yes.
the extroversion.
Because I am definitely more introverted, and I would say that Stacy is more extroverted, but that's not to say that we don't work well together,
Right,
because
right.
certainly we do.
Right.
It's just a difference of personality types.
Right. Yes. And so understanding people who they are is important, because you don't want to, offend somebody because you're using certain language, or you're, having expectations of them, but it goes against the core essence of who they are. You know what I mean? Like if I decided to have a training class with my employees, and I started pointing the finger at one of the employees who clearly is a more shy employee or introverted, it could really traumatize her and make her or him feel like,
Have a little panic attack.
I don't even want to be a part of this.
Yes, that would make me sweat some bullets.
Yes.
Like, at least give me some sort of leading
Yes.
question and maybe a minute or two to kind of think it over.
Right. So you just have to be conscious and conscientious about, who you're working with and what type of person they are. Are they a good listener? Do they talk a lot? Are they the person who you want to lead the training? Because hey, they like to lead, they like to train, they like to be in the front. So it's just important, to know what you're working with, so that you can know how to get things done and who can get things done and who may need a little help.
Right, so thinking of that, I think that's an excellent segue. So one of the things that we touch very heavily on within, for instance, our training and our courses as well, is creating and establishing an excellence baseline. So within your team member, do you truly know the strengths and weaknesses of every player on the team?
Right.
So you need to be able to know that, to know what types of goals, what types of direction that your organization can go in, and whether there is a need for additional training. So what are your thoughts on establishing that baseline? What's the best way to do it?
Yeah, I think it's important that you really have close side meetings with the people who are on your team. What does that mean? It means one-on-ones, and that is important, because when you have those type one-on-one kind of conversations, it allows that person to see that you really, and I know this word may be overused, but care. And it's important because right now in this time, this age, with all that is going on in the world, people really do need to feel like somebody cares, And so, but you want to know where they are with their workflows, with their workloads, and so you can do that if you are one-on-one with them, and then they can show you, talk to you, have questions, concerns. You're right there. And it's basically giving them a private moment, for them to be able to share, for you to be able to fact gather, and then of course set things up for how to move that person forward, or how to shift. Maybe you have to shift work because you learn from that one-on-one that this person is overloaded, or this person needs more training, or this person actually has all her work done. She has a clean desk. She may need to get some more, he or she may need to get some work from distributed or given to them to handle. Claims, when I say work, claims processing.
Yes, so definitely I feel there is tremendous value in getting that personal one-on-one time with each employee. To start with, that's how you build trust. essentially that's how you get to know the person, their working style, what they may need some assistance with, maybe some additional training, and what they're good at, and the things that they are good at. Then you can really promote them in that, and the things that they would like to improve on, give them the tools and whatever training they need to be able to reach that next level. So I think that is definitely important. And for someone like me, for example, I will be more inclined to do my best every day if I know that I'm supporting a manager who cares about me and my progress and my success, because I'm sure many of us have been in organizations too where we're working for, it feels like almost like an unknown entity or an unknown face, where you're not looked at as a real person. And of course we all know we all have value, we all have thoughts and emotions and things that happen to us on a daily basis. So to really have that human connection with your workplace, I think is definitely a priority.
Yes. And speaking of that word, that buzzword that always rings loud in my ear, value. I think it's important that we do show value. And the way you value somebody in a work capacity, in a leadership capacity, is training them. That shows that you value them. Giving them tools to succeed. That's a real easy value way to show value. So I think I can't say that enough, because I believe in training people, giving people tools to succeed, so that they can feel good and confident and valued.
Yeah, absolutely. And going along with that, training is a form of kindness. We've mentioned this before. So giving your staff, the people that you work with, the basic tools that they need to be able to feel confident to do what they do on a daily basis. If you're not investing in the proper training, then you're really not setting your team up for success. And that also leads into creating attainable goals for them. If you're not providing the proper training as well, can you really set goals that may be out of reach for them? That's not really fair. That's not really being kind, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. It's important, because I know I tend to drift to this particular subject, which is personal in nature. And that is, when I was a time when I was sick, and of course you all probably heard me talk about that, not in depth, but mention that. But one of the things I did, my go-to was read and reestablish the confidence that I'd started to feel like I didn't have. And when I did that, I fueled myself. And so I could then begin to say to myself, okay, you do know these things, and you are, smart, and you are who you are. You demonstrate, yourself to be. So I just had to put that in there. Sometimes people, in having their moments, and when they don't feel so confident, so valuable, but if you pour into them, and for me, I poured into myself by picking up a book that told me that was something that I read before, but I needed to be reminded, again. And so, it's important.
And there is something to say about going back to the basics, about repeating the things that you think that you know, but really just ingraining it in your mind. So whether that's your value as you're smart, you're talented, you have many gifts to give to the world, or maybe it's I can succeed in my job. Maybe something bad happened or something that was out of my control, but that is not a reflection on you personally. It's just something in the workplace. So don't take it too personally or too negatively, and just kind of reset yourself. And to know that tomorrow is a better day. And there's always a new opportunity.
Absolutely. So how you see yourself is very important, and how especially it's important because how you see yourself is how you're going to show up. And it's going to be how the other people will see you. Because if you don't see yourself in the light of positivity and knowledgeable and confident, then how can your team respect and see you in that manner? And it goes vice versa. How do you see your team? As those people who are your team, are they, game players? Do they have confidence because they've learned what you've taught them or what they've already brought to the table? It's important for you to be able to to know who you are, how you see yourself, and how you see the people that you are impacting every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely, they're related to each other. So your work culture is related to your manager, and how does your manager relate to the team on a daily basis?
Yes.
So is your manager positive, therefore your work culture is going to rise
Yes.
up, or if they're projecting negative
Right.
all the way,
Right.
then I can surely tell you that that energy, that negative energy, is going to be felt
It
within
will.
your
And-
organization
and
too.
eventually cause a deteriorated work environment, and one that is probably not as productive as it should be, if productive at all. So I hope that you found some value in what we shared, and certainly take the time to really write down and think about, how do I see myself, and then how do I see my team, each one of those individuals individually, and you will hopefully be able to make impact by hearing or doing what we told you to do, which is know who you are and be able to see the value in yourself and in the others that you are leading.
I like that. Yes. So take some time, do some self-reflection, truly ask yourself, how do you see yourself? And then in that projection am I projecting the right kind of
Yes.
environment, or the right kind of qualities that I want to see within my organization as well?
Yes. Yes. I like it. And I hope we see you next time on the
right.
next Rev'd Up Conversation.
Yes, stay tuned.
Bye.
Bye.